शरमणीयदर्शनं मन्दहासरुचिरात्मनाम्बुजं पूजितं सुरनरोत्तमैर्मुदा धर्मनन्दनमहं विचिन्तये। श्री घनश्याम महाराजनी जय। श्री हरिकृष्ण महाराजनी जय। श्री स्वामीनारायण भगवाननी जय। श्री ठाकुरजी महाराजनी जय। श्री सद्गुरुदेवनी जय। Supreme Almighty, our beloved Thakurji Maharaj, Pathmaker to our liberation, Pujapat Guruji, and all of you devotees, Jai Swaminarayan. We know in our satsang, there are so many different ways to attain the realization of Bhagwan himself. There are many different ways, there are many different means to attain Bhagwan's realization, as well as to attain divine virtues in the satsang, as well as the divine virtues which is always resides in the Ekantik Satpurus. But the very easiest and very important way to attain the Rajipo of Bhagwan, his Ekantik Satpurus, and all of the Santos and Bhaktos in satsang, that is totally unique and very easy. There are many different sadhans in this satsang which is described even in the scriptures, just as the meditation, tap meaning performing penance in different ways, like performing different vrats, dharana, parana, chandran, etc., performing his 9 kinds of devotion, meaning bhakti. In this way, there are so many different ways to please Bhagwan. But amongst those, all of those different ways or different means, there is one very easiest, very simple, yet very beneficial, and that is the Seva. Today we are going to discuss something about Seva, because it is the simplest way to earn Rajipo. Rajipo of Bhagwan, Rajipo of Satpurus, Rajipo of Santo and Bhakto. Why we need to attend Rajipo? There's also a question arise in our mind. We need the Rajipo of Bhagwan, his Ekantik Satpurus. Not only that, but also the Santo and Bhaktos, those who are staying and living around us. It is only because if we have this Rajipo, it is the greatest force to walk on the path of God. Without the Rajipo of Ekantik Satpurus and the other Santo and Bhakto, we cannot please Bhagwan himself. So if we want to please Bhagwan, then we must need this Rajipo. And for that, there is one way, that is very easiest way to attain the Rajipo, and that is the Seva. So let me see what is the Seva. First, the meaning of the Seva. Meaning, first one is, we can say Seva meaning selfless service. We perform whatever we perform to please Bhagwan, Ekantik Satpurus and other Santos and Bhaktos, that is called a Seva. That is very primary meaning. In other way, we can also say that, like to do anything for Maharaj, that is also called a Seva. Like just as we are worshipping Bhagwan's idol, meaning we are wearing Bhagwan different clothes and help him like to offering him ornaments in this way. Whatever we do in this way for Maharaj, if we prepare meal for Bhagwan, that is also called a Seva. In the same way, to do anything for Satpurus, that is also called a Seva. So there is no any scriptures state that the only something doing for Bhagwan is called Seva. But also, Vachanamrut, every time, whenever Bhagwan talk about the service of Bhagwan, at the same time, Sriji Maharaj himself says, service of Bhagwan and his Ekantik Sant, or Bhagwan and his Sant or Bhagwan and his Bhakt. What it does mean? It does mean like we do not need to do only something for Bhagwan only. We must need to do something for Bhagwan as well as his Ekantik Santo and Bhakto. So, this way we can also define the Seva as to do anything for Satpurus along with Maharaj. And the same way to help Santo and Bhakto in their different services, meaning in their different devotion or whatever they are performing for Bhagwan. If we help them in those work, then that's also called as Seva. So this is what the Seva, the simplest way to earn Rajiva. Now we understood what is the meaning of Seva. The very simple and easiest definition of the word Seva is selfless service. Now, there are thousands of people in this world who are also engaged themselves to provide something to the needy, meaning those who are the social workers, they were performing their activities for helping the poor, uneducated, the urban people. In this way, they are performing their activities, and they also call like they are performing seva. True, that is also a kind of seva. But in the perspective of our satsang, we consider seva which has any kind of relation with Bhagwan. If by following Sriji Maharaj Agnya in the Siksapatri, if we performing or if we helping the needy, meaning if we help the poor, if we help the uneducated, if we help the undeveloped or underdeveloped people, so at that time, if we have Sriji Maharaj Agnya, which is in the Siksapatri, in our mind, then that's called it considered as a seva. Otherwise, it is only like you're helping or your good social activities, but not considered as a seva. So this is also one point to remember in our mind while performing any activities for the other people. Now we understood this meaning and the other things, what is meaning, what is the seva. Now let me see what kind of seva performed by Bhagwan himself as an example for teachers to teach us how to do seva in the satsang. And for that, the best example we can say, and that is Nilkant Varni's whole life, meaning from the day when he departed from the home up to he became as a sadhu, meaning up to the Nilkant Varni's journey completed when he met Ramanand Swami in Piplana. So during this period of time, Nilkant Varni had performed many different kinds of seva. But among those seva, what I consider myself the greatest and unique, and we can say no one can do that kind of seva, and that is Nilkant Varni is performing seva of Sevakram. The story was described in the Vachanamrut, Grada 1st, chapter 10. Sriji Maharaj himself narrated this story, his experience. While during his journey from Setuban to Rameswar, Sriji Maharaj encountered a sadhu by the name of Sevakram. Sevakram was not a disciple of Sriji Maharaj or Nilkant Varni, but he encountered along the way. No doubt, Sevakram was a little older, meaning he was older, more older than the Nilkant Varni. Sevakram was at the time around 65 or something age, and no one was with him. So he was alone, and he found Nilkant Varni on the way. What happened at the time? Sevakram fell sick. Because of his sickness, because of his illness, he could not walk any further. Not only that, but as he was extremely sick and because of diarrhea, and blood passing through the stool. So because of that, he even could not able to do any kind of activity for himself. So he was crying, and Nilkanthani consoled him, "Don't worry about anything. I would serve him. I would make food for you, and I would feed you." So, and not only Nilkanthani told him like that, but he performed himself the manual all kind of services to this Sevakram. But later on, Sevakram did not respond, or we can say did not give anything to Nilkanthani, not even say thanks. This is called ungrateful Sevakram. Why? Because he did not respect to Nilkanthani's attitude to do Seva. But Nilkanthani did this Seva only by respecting him as a sadhu. So now we should think our mind. If Sriji Maharaj, he was all knowing at the time, he is all powerful, and still, even though from the beginning he knew about his nature, like Sevakram has he has a greedy nature, and that's why he will not give anything to me. No doubt, Nilkanthani did not deserve anything from Sevakram, but at least sometimes Nilkanthani had to do fast, as he could not find anything in the bhiksha from the villages. So at that time, Nilkanthani had to do fast. He had to pass whole the day without eating anything. So at that time, Sevakram should think in his mind, this is also a sadhu, he is also renunciant, and if he did not, he had no money, nothing. So if I have more money, I have enough money, so he should also eat with me, as he cooked for me and he fed me. So why he could not eat with me? But he failed to do this, and this example of Nilkanthani's Seva, of Sevakram, is very, very important for us. Why? Because Sriji Maharaj wanted to give us an example how to do Seva, to whom we should perform the Seva, etc. etc. Why? Because Nilkanthani knew from the beginning, like Sevakram is greedy. Still he had performed his Seva. And in the Vachanamrut he said, I perform his manual Seva only by respecting his as a sadhu. So now, think for our own self. We have attained the sadhus, those who are 100% following all the 5 religious vows given by Sriji Maharaj himself. We have attained the sadhus, those who are always keep themselves away from women and wealth. We have attained the sadhus, those who have 100% renounced their family life, the social life, everything. And they only living for bhagwan, the other sadhus and bhaktos, meaning only for satsang. So now, if Sriji Maharaj himself is performing the seva of Sevakram, who was ungrateful, meaning who do not even respect to Sriji Maharaj, then what we can get from this charitra of Sriji Maharaj? We should think for that, and we should perform all kind of manual or other sevas of the sadhus. At least we should, respecting any sadhu as a sadhu, meaning as a renunciant, we should perform his seva. This is the principle of Sriji Maharaj. Next, not only Sriji Maharaj, but also Muktanand Swami, our Adi Guru, he was also has the same nature. He had served Ramanand Swami by thought, word and deed. He was not the first disciple of Ramanand Swami, but because he served Ramananda Swami by thought, word and deed. He was the head, meaning he was the prominent or the senior he was became a senior disciple of Ramananda Swami, not by the initiation, meaning not by the diksha, but by the his saintliness, or we can say his attitude to do seva, or his attitude to do please everyone. And because of that, Muktanand Swami earned Ramananda Swami's Rajipo. And he got everything from Ramananda Swami, meaning all divine virtues, all kind of saintliness and everything from Ramananda Swami. So this is what Muktanand Swami's life. Now, Muktanand Swami also served Nilkant Varni, meaning Sahajananda Swami, the same way as he was worshipping and he was serving Ramananda Swami by thought, word and deed. In the same way, he served Nilkant Varni as well. Meaning, why I am saying Nilkant Varni? Because when Nilkant Varni stopped at lodge, he only stopped because of Muktanand Swami's saintliness. When Nilkant Varni met Muktanand Swami, and when he got the pure, 100% pure saintliness, then and then he stopped his journey. And Nilkant Varni met Ramananda Swami. Before that, for 9 months, he stayed in lodge and he remained under the command of Muktanand Swami. He remained as a servant, meaning he remained as a disciple of Ramananda Swami. Not only that, but he remained as a disciple of Muktanand Swami. Not only that, but even after becoming the head of this sect, after passing of Ramananda Swami, Sriji Maharaj still believed Muktanand Swami as his guru. And this is what the different thing, what we can say, like serve Nilkant Varni. Meaning, even though Nilkant Varni was believing him as a guru, still Muktanand Swami believed him as a bhagwan. That is the most important thing. And that's why Muktanand Swami could serve Maharaj. Otherwise, Guru could never serve the disciple. But Muktanand Swami never understood Nilkant Varni as his disciple. He always understood him as Bhagwan, the Supreme God. And he served him by thought, word and deed. And Muktanand Swami also served the whole satsang by writing many scriptures, writing thousands of kirtans, and he has many other skill and more other things in him. And through his whole life, by talking, by singing, by dancing, by chanting, he served the whole satsang through whole of his life. This is what our Adi Guru Muktanand Swami. Now, let us see what is in our Dada Guruji's life. Dada Guruji's attitude was also the same. Sometimes, when Dada Guruji was most of the whole life, he remained as the Mahan of different temples. Once he was as a Mahant in Surat temple. At that time, those were the days when the Surat city was not considered as the today's we can say the vibrant or the most developed city in the state. At that time, that was not the time for the Surat. So the business were growing up at the time, meaning started up, and there were no the skilled person in the city, and also at the time the India's condition, meaning economical condition, was not good. So people were mostly poor and uneducated. So what happened? There were nothing like there were no scope to earn money in the villages, in the rural area. So most of the people from the rural area, they migrated to the city. to earn money. And at that time, Dada Guruji was the Mahant of Surat. And at that time, Dada Guruji, who would come from different villages, Dada Guruji would accept him in the mandir. He was kept those all the people in the mandir. He himself cooked food and served those people. Not only that, but in the morning when those people from the villages, they went for finding the jobs, or if they found the job, then they went for the job. So at that time, sometimes they woke up late, little late, and because of that, in a hurry, they would forgot to washing their clothes. And Dada Guruji would notice those things. And after that, every day, Dada Guruji, without saying anything to anyone, he himself washed all of the clothes of those devotees himself and dried them. How can the Mahan, how can the head of the Mandir could do this? Because he has only one thing in his mind. Like my bhagwan, when he was as a Nilkant Varni, here performing manual seva of ungrateful sevakram. This is the devotees of Bhagwan, meaning these people, they are at least chanting Swaminarayan Swaminarayan many times in a day. They have the darshan of Bhagwan in the mandir. They have the company of a sadhu like that of me. So understanding their mahima in this way, Dada Guruji was performing this kind of seva, meaning washing clothes of the devotees. Moreover, he cooked meal for all. Once he was Mahant in the Mumbai temple, and those were not the days when there is any mobile services or telephone services, nothing at the time. At the time, only telegram was there in the India, not telegram which is the app today, which is a kind of social media. That was not telegram, but a different kind of services. Like you can send a simple short message from one place to another. So that was the method at the time, and that could be only possible when there is a post office. Otherwise, not possible. So what happened once? Some group of people, they went to Surat for having darshan of Maharaj in Mandir. So at the time, Dada Guruji was there as Mahant, and those people, the group of people, those who left from Gujarat to Mumbai, so anyhow, like traffic problem or anyhow, they became late, and there is no any communication happen because they were on the way. So there was no scope of any kind of communication. So they reached there at the mandir after midnight. So everyone in the staff and the other sadhus, everyone was sleeping. But only Dada Guruji was remain awake. When the group of people, some saints and some devotees, they came to late at night, Dada Guruji himself opened the door of the mandir, meaning the main gate of the mandir. He welcomed those group of devotees and sadhus. Not only that, but he himself cooked food for them, himself fed everyone, meaning served everyone. After that, he said, please remain your plates and bowls and glasses, everything here. We will clean them in the morning. Do not worry about that. You, after this much traveling, you definitely become tired. So first, let me go to your room. And in this way, Puja Dada Guruji led them towards their room and provide everyone, the sadhus in the Sandashram and the devotees in the Dharamsala. Dada Guruji led everyone to their room. And after completing this seva, meaning providing the bed and other things, Dada Guruji, after everyone slept, then Dada Guruji came back to the dining hall. He washed all the utensils, dishes, bowls, everything. He cleaned, even he wiped the whole hall, and after that, he would go to sleep. But how this incident would come to the know of the others? One sadhu who came at late at night and who was sleeping at night, he woke up because there was some noise of utensils coming to his ear. So he woke up and he found Dada Guruji was performing this seva. So he had told this during the Sadguru Smriti Mahotsav. So now consider, Dada Guruji has no any kind of desire for like everyone know me, like I am performing this seva. Nothing. He just doing this seva only to please Maharaj. He had one thing in his mind, like my parampara is Muktanand Swami's parampara. So Muktanand Swami had performed this kind of seva. All of my Guruji, meaning our Guruji's Dada Guruji, meaning Dada Guruji's Guru, Narayan Sarvadaji Swami, he had performed this kind of seva. So now it is my turn to do seva. And that's why, in this way, he performed seva even for the devotees and sadhus, even without caring for himself. He was also without sleep. Still, he didn't think for himself. Now, taking care of sick people. Sometimes, there were some sadhus or some devotees, they were sick. And if Dada Guruji knew about that, like there was no one behind them to taking care of, so he himself make an arrangement for those devotees and sadhus in the mandir, and he himself served those sick people. Once there was an old devotee and who had given his son to the satsang, meaning his son was a sant. So according to our rules, the sadhu who was a son, he could not contact his father, his previous father. And on the other hand, there were no one with that devotee who can taking care of him in his old age. So what happened? Once he was become seriously ill because of his old age. There were many problems happen in the body. So he was very sick and no one was with him. So what happened? Dada Guruji knew about this. He immediately sent two devotees there, and they came with the devotee, meaning come with that ill devotee, and Dada Guruji arranged everything for him in the mandir. Not only that, but every day, he himself went to feed him the food and taking care of him, ask him how was he, about his medication, everything. He himself taking interest, and with the mahima, he was performing this kind of seva. Why? Because he has in his mind, this is a devotee of Bhagwan. This is a devotee of Bhagwan. Not only that, but he performed the pujan and meaning worshipping Bhagwan, as well as he is chanting his holy name in this way. And more, he had given his own son, his only son, to this satsang, and his son was serving satsang as a sadhu. So now it is our duty to perform this seva. In this way, understanding the glory of the devotee, he performing this kind of seva. Now, help jobless people. Even Pujya Dada Guruji, he was also give accommodation and free food facility to those who were jobless people in the city. He provided accommodation as well as food, everything free of charge. Not only that, as I have mentioned earlier, like he washed their clothes as well. So this is what our Dada Guruji's nature. Now the same thing, the same divine virtues we can see in our Puja Guruji's life. We have seen many times the videos like Puja Guruji was making food, meaning making rotis for santos, we have experienced many times when he was on such a high position. Still, he was he was cleaning the washroom. Sometimes we have noticed him like cleaning his room, and sometimes even arranging the shoes of the sadhus and devotees. In this way, even though he was such a high position, he was a guru of like more than 50 sadhus and thousands of devotees. Still, he was performing this kind of seva. Why? Because he has mahima in his mind. Sometimes, when the other sadhus or devotees found him like sweeping the floor or something, then they might stop him. Like, you should not do this. You are our Guruji, and give us the broom and everything. We have to do this. But at the time, Puja Guruji asked, what kind of sin I have committed? Like, I could not do this seva. How much the importance of seva in his mind. We have to reach up to that level. This is the real glory of seva in our satsang. But we could not understand the real meaning of seva. And because of that, we all the time when performing seva, we understood it as an activity. Or we understood it as tools to get some respect or like some honor in satsang. But without carrying anything, we should understood seva as the way to attain rajipa of everyone in satsang. And if by this way of seva, if we get the rajipa of everyone, Bhagwan will become pleased upon us. Moreover, Sriji Maharaj himself says in the Vachanamrut, we will see in the next slide, Vachanamrut Garda middle chapter 25. Sriji Maharaj himself says, just as Ukakachor has become addicted to serving the sadhu, in the same way, if one becomes addicted to serving God and his son, to the extent that one would not be able to stay for even a moment without serving them, then all of the impure desires in one's antakaran will be destroyed. This is the main important Vachanamrut in the Vachanamrut. Why? Because Sriji Maharaj give only one simple way to eradicate all of our impurities from within. Just as in the war, only one atom bomb is enough for destroying the thousands of miles area. In the same way, this only one atom bomb in the form of seva is enough to destroy all kind of impurities which is in our heart. Why we should not do this seva? If we want to destroy, if we want to remove all the impurities from our heart, we must do the seva. This is what today's simple and easiest way to earn rajipa of everyone, that is called seva. Now, from today, we should promise Bhagwan. Today we should not pray to Bhagwan, but today we should promise Bhagwan, Maharaj, I promise you, I would serve all the santos along with you only and only to earn your rajipo. So please grace me with your rajipo. And for that, please grace me with such a thought the whole day. By saying this, Jai Swaminarayan. Shri Ghanshyamprakashdasji Jai. Shri Patim Shri Dharam Sarvadeveshwaram Bhaktidharmatmajam Vasudevam Hare